Accountability. What does it mean to be accountable, and why is it an important piece for creating success in and out of sports? Accountability is another word used in place of responsibility. Being accountable is being responsible for your actions and your decisions. Every person has a responsibility to be accountable for his or her own self. When I was 20 years old, I still didn't understand the true meaning of what it meant to be accountable because I wasn't taught why I needed to be accountable in my life and the long-term importance of it. At the time, I was still blaming others as to why things weren't going my way and didn't understand the concept that I am the one who is in control of the journey of my life. You may ask why being accountable is so important to your own success. It's usually easy for most people to take accountability when everything is going well in their life. But how do you react when things aren't going your way? Being accountable comes from being able to take responsibility of your actions when things are going your way and also when they aren't. When you play a great game, it's easy to receive the praise and the high fives that come your way along with the pats on the back. During the course of my playing career, there were many occasions when I didn't want to take accountability for my actions. A lot of the time I would point the finger at my coaches, teammates, or referees as to why I felt I wasn't playing well. For instance, if a referee made a call that I didn't agree with, I would approach the referee and ask why that particular call was or wasn't made instead of having the viewpoint of, what can I do differently so that doesn't happen again? As an athlete, you have to be aware of how a referee or referees are calling a game. Depending on if it was a 2-person or 3-person crew, I had to prepare on how I was going to play during the game. I would love a 2-person crew because I love playing defense and I knew I could get away with a little bit more. When I would warm up before a game and saw a 3-person crew, I knew right away that I had to be more aware and smart with how I played because I knew there were more eyes watching. As a player, I knew to never allow a game to be decided by the referee's whistle. The importance of accountability can be overlooked because it's easier to point the finger elsewhere and make someone else responsible for your disappointment in the outcome. Being accountable is a measure of how you bounce back and move forward from your current circumstance. As a point guard on my team, if I made a pass to a teammate and they didn't catch the ball, I used to immediately look at them with eyes of blame. I learned to not automatically question my teammate for not catching the ball, but instead to ask myself if there was something I could have done to make a better pass for them to catch. The lesson I learned with making passes that weren't caught was to understand my teammates' strengths and weaknesses. Sometimes, you may have teammates who aren't going to catch a bullet pass that you thread through 2 defenders. If you throw the same pass 3 times and they don't catch it, you need to take responsibility for continuing to throw them a bullet pass, and instead, you should put your teammates in situations where they will catch the ball. Taking accountability is putting your teammate in a better situation to contribute to the success of the team. The lessons you'll learn in sports are very similar to the experiences you'll encounter outside of sports. There may be days when things aren't going your way in your personal life. When you point the finger at another person, it may make you feel better at the time because it relieves you from having to look at yourself in the mirror and asking, what could I have done differently to see a different result? A lot of the time we don't like to be wrong. We have been brought up in a society to think that being wrong is bad. But being wrong or making a mistake isn't a bad thing if you're still given the opportunity to learn from it. When you have a misstep, you have to look at it in a positive light. As in, there's a lesson to be learned to help you progress into becoming an extraordinary player and person. Growth in any area of your life will always be valuable because it's life's way of showing you how astounding of a person you are becoming and that you have what it takes to attain anything you put your mind to. We need to stop allowing the word wrong to have such an unpleasant meaning when it is said to another person. Have you noticed how a person's mood alters when you tell them they are wrong? Better yet, can you think back to how it made you feel when someone said you were wrong? Being told that you are wrong can bring your energy down a bit. When you focus on the misstep of you or someone else, you're overlooking the lessons to be learned from that experience. If you play a trivia game and you select the wrong answer, more than likely you'll be told what the correct one is. And guess what? You'll learn something. When you focus on the negative part of a situation, you will eventually become discouraged from trying new things in the future because of your fear of doing it wrong. In turn, this may cause you to inherit a fear-based mindset. With fear comes low self-esteem and uncertainty. Fear can be formed from not wanting to make mistakes in order to avoid unhappy feelings. In order to avoid unpleasant feelings, you'll want to stay inside your comfort zone where you feel safe within your current routine. Keep in mind that just because you choose to remain in your comfort zone does not mean you're receiving internal happiness. Sometimes we remain in unhealthy situations because of the fear of stepping outside of our comfort zone. You may feel uneasy due to not knowing what the result may be if you try something new, even if you know the current situation is unhealthy. One of the key ingredients to achieving success lies outside your comfort zone and taking accountability and using your thoughts and energy towards making a decision to take action leading to a triumphant result. Instead of harping on the bad, ask yourself what actions you can take next time to see a different result. This way you begin to form a habit of becoming accountable for the life you live and the opportunities you will create in your life. Part of being accountable is being responsible for not only the physical effort, but the mental effort it takes to achieve your goals. Keep in mind that once something has been done, it cannot be changed. Putting the focus on something that cannot be changed is ineffective. I know that as a competitive athlete, you have those moments where you think, oh, if I would have made that free throw rather than miss it, or if I would have made that shot, or even gotten that rebound, the game would have ended differently. Accountability is what you will do to prepare yourself to obtain a different result. This may take some time for you to get adjusted to understanding what it means to be accountable for your actions. Continue to have patience. You will soon realize the importance and value of this trait that you are developing. A helpful technique to implement accountability is having a notebook to write down your thoughts and feelings of your day-to-day activities. You may even have separate notebooks assigned to different areas of your life, whether it's sports, school, family, or friends. The goal of the notebook is to allow yourself to acknowledge your feelings in different areas of your life and how to become accountable towards seeing positive results. One important thing to keep in mind is to focus on what actions and decisions you will take, not what other people should do, to bring positive results in your life. You cannot control what others do and don't do, so please do yourself a favor and don't focus on what you don't have control of. You only have control of your actions and decisions. In my first year of junior college, my basketball team didn't have a great record. That experience deeply affected me because I was so used to winning games throughout high school. One of my assistant coaches sent me a poem by mail over the summer that had such a captivating effect on me. The poem was about a player who constantly pointed the finger at someone else when things went wrong. But in reality, it was a player herself who needed to become accountable in order to see the great things her coaches and teammates could do. As the point guard and a leader of my team, I knew I had to become accountable for the changes I wanted to see in my team and, most importantly, in myself. A lot of people say they want to be the best in sports as well as be the best they can be in life. I learned that being great in life meant being accountable for my life. When you're accountable, you really care about improving and you want to help everyone around you improve as well. When I learned to be more accountable, I began to communicate to my teammates that I would put them in better positions for them to be successful by saying, "Next time, I'll give you a better pass." I began noticing that they would respond with comments such as, "I got you. Next time, I'll catch it." After I became accountable for a bad pass, my teammates grew accountable for wanting to catch the next one. I didn't have to blame them for not catching a pass. They became accountable on their own because they saw I became accountable for what I did. True teamwork is created when all members of a team hold themselves and one another accountable. Your attribute of being accountable will rub off on others in making them want to be accountable as well. Just think of how successful your team will become if everyone is accountable for their actions and decisions. Once I became responsible for my actions, my teammates ceased saying to me, "Next time you should make a better pass." In order for a team to be successful, everyone has to be on the same page in terms of their characteristics. This will help your team reach their highest potential. There will be times when you won't like being called out on certain things. Situations may vary. But you need to understand the significance of why you're being held accountable by the people who care about you reaching your full potential in sports and in life. When a coach calls you out on something or disciplines you, such as not allowing you to be on the starting lineup of a game or sits you out an entire quarter, it's not because your coach is a mean person, but your coach is trying to teach you a lesson. Just as you have to be accountable, so does your coach. Your coach has to be accountable in reinforcing team rules to all players to show that no player is bigger than the team in order for the team to reach its full potential. I know many of us handle our competitive spirit in different ways. I was the type of player who wore my emotions on my sleeve. I recall when we would lose a game, I didn't want to talk to anyone afterwards. If my parents came near me, I didn't want to talk to them because I was upset and disappointed in how I played or the fact that we had lost the game. I would take my frustrations out on my parents. I had to learn to be accountable for how I played and recognize that I was not the only member of my team and that we didn't win the game together as a unit. My parents didn't do anything on the court to determine the outcome of the game. That was all me, and I needed to be accountable for my actions. Being accountable meant not taking my frustrations out on others because I wasn't happy with the outcome. I shouldn't have held my parents accountable with the silent treatment because my team lost. My parents weren't out on the court dribbling, shooting, making passes, and playing defense. I learned that I needed to look at myself in the mirror and ask myself what I could do better the next time, and how would I help my team be better prepared to come out victorious. When you get frustrated, look at your focus calendar to see if you've been putting in the work to see positive outcomes. If what you're writing on your focus calendar isn't working, then it may be time for you to reevaluate how you're performing each task and if there are tasks that need to be added, deleted, or modified to see different results. There are going to be times when you have to tweak and change things in order to find your groove, and that's okay. You may be crossing off daily tasks on your focus calendar, but you have to be honest and ask yourself, am I giving each task 100% effort, or am I going through the motions? If one of your tasks is to work on dribbling drills at home for an hour, but during that hour you have your cell phone in your pocket, checking your text messages and social media sites, do your actions equate to being accountable to your goal and giving it 100% effort during that hour? When you devote your time to perfecting your craft, your mind needs to be committed, as well, alongside your body in order to see results that will transfer over to the game. This also includes the time you spend practicing with your team. How you practice is how you'll play in a game. Go hard and give it all you got. You must give 100% effort during your practice time in order to improve your skills so that you may increase your role and value to your team. To be great in anything you do, you must possess the drive to take any and all necessary action to accomplish your goals. Accountability is also acknowledging the role of your teammates, which is essential for any team to be successful. You have a responsibility of knowing your role as a member of your team. Not everyone plays 20 to 30 minutes per game, and some players don't play at all. Know your role as a member of your team and execute it to your full potential each game. I've had teammates who didn't play much or at all, but they were the ones who would start a chant of defense from the bench or would motivate their teammates during a timeout. If your job is to go in and grab rebounds, then go in there, box out, and grab rebounds. A couple of my strengths were driving to the basket to find my open teammates and playing great defense. During games, I wasn't going to start jacking up three-point shots because I knew I had teammates on the court whose role was to knock down those shots. Knowing your role is another example of being accountable. If you step out of your role and you get taken out of the game, don't initially get mad at your coach, but instead use your energy to refocus your mind so that you're prepared to execute your strengths when you're put back into the game. Game time is not the time to work on areas of your game that are subpar. During practice and your personal time is when you should work on improving your game. This also means if you're a great shooter and you're not hitting your shots, refocus your mind so that you're prepared to knock down those shots. Let's not forget that accountability also comes from the decisions and actions you make off the court as well. For example, if you want to go to your friend's birthday party, but you didn't clean your room or finish the chores your parents ask you to do, and you're told that you aren't permitted to go to the party, you must understand why and take responsibility for the role you played in not being able to attend the birthday party. You know what you had to do in order to attend your friend's birthday party. When you recognize the situation that you had control to create, you'll begin to see the importance of your actions, or lack thereof. If you're hanging out with your friends and you get into some trouble, your initial reaction shouldn't be to blame your friends for getting you into trouble. You need to realize you have to hold yourself accountable for deciding to hang out with those friends when the situation took place. If you continue to blame others for the mishaps in your life, you'll create a false sense of reality in that you are not responsible for your actions, when in fact the actions and decisions you make will dictate the journey you create in your life. As you continue to progress in holding yourself accountable for your actions, you'll begin to notice positive results in the things you accomplish, and this will build your confidence, knowing that you are capable of achieving anything you put your mind to. You should always put 100% effort in all areas of your life. If you have a couple of good games back to back due to being accountable and giving 100% effort in what you needed to do, this doesn't mean you get to take a break and get comfortable. Congratulate yourself and motivate yourself further. Do not settle in your comfort zone. Don't just do enough to get by. Step up your game to reach higher heights in your life. When you attain a high level in sports, you must hold yourself accountable to not fall below that line and to be committed to continuing to improve. It's very easy to get complacent when things are going well, but remind yourself that the sky is the limit and there will always be room for growth in all areas of your life. You may say that you want to play on your school's basketball team, but you're not putting in the effort towards your schoolwork to keep your grade point average up. If that's the case, your actions are telling a different story. Instill in your mind that if you want something, you'll need to put in the necessary focus, effort, and actions into achieving it. Ask yourself, what am I willing to do to get where I want to go? Your actions always speak louder than words as it relates to sports and outside of sports. When your focus is on how you can become better by putting in the action to improve, your journey will continue to take its course in leading you to abundant opportunities to showcase your skills.